I think we may start it formally and welcome again to Dr. Haseeb
Thank
for
you very much.
giving his precious time for the, you can say, improvement of UMT journals. We would like to invite Dr. Haseeb when he visit Pakistan in UMT, and we will definitely request him to give some time and for some seminar and or some other topic to share his views with. I think, Dr. Shah, if PhD class would be better enough to have a discussion with Dr. Shah. And Dr. Shah, इकोनॉमिक्स की अगर आपकी क्लास पीएचडी की या मैनेजमेंट साइंसेस की क्लास पीएचडी की डॉक्टर साहब आप मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं डॉक्टर हफीज साहब
Yes, yes, yes.
Surely, surely it will be very.
डॉक्टर
It
नोमान
will be our
साहब
honor.
हाँ डॉक्टर नोमान साहब का आई विल पे माय special thank to Dr. Noman for arranging a wonderful lecture for us and webinar. तो डॉक्टर साहब मेरी ख्वाहिश होगी कि डॉक्टर साहब को हम पाकिस्तान आए तो इनवाइट करें यूएमटी और एक पीएचडी क्लास के साथ इनका कोई सेमिनार आपके डिपार्टमेंट में और मैनेजमेंट साइंसेस का मिला के कोई ऐसा रखें कि जिससे जो है एक अच्छा हमारा इनके साथ इंटरेक्शन भी हो शेयरिंग भी हो डॉक्टर साहब की हम एक डिटेल्ड लेक्चर भी सुने कुछ सेमिनार हो तब तब भी हम तो अपना डॉक्टर साहब डॉक्टर हसीब साहब ये डॉक्टर नुमान साहब से तो आप वाकिफ हैं ही डॉक्टर हफीज साहब हमारे माशाल्लाह बड़े पुराने और मंजे हुए एकेडमिशियन हैं ही वाज डीन एट पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी while he was serving at Punjab University and now he is chairman of department at business school heading department of economics at UMT and he is also member of many committees at HEC for formulating policy you can say issues and he is also involved in recognizing some journals some committees he is heading तो ये हमारे साथ इनका भी बहुत शुक्रिया कि ये इन्होंने ज्वाइन किया बाकी पार्टिसिपेंट्स का भी और कि उन्होंने ज्वाइन किया और उम्मीद है कि वी विल हैव अ वेरी गुड lecture and discussion with Dr. Haseeb. Again, thanks to Dr. Haseeb for giving his time to UMT, and I will hand over my mic to Dr. Noman Sab if you want to say add something, or Dr. Hafiz Sab to say welcome to Dr. Haseeb. Ji, over to you, both Dr. Ansab.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, Dr. Hafiz will be joining in 5 minutes. So I welcome Dr. Haseeb to give us a very valuable training session for our journals and all the journals in Pakistan. So I wish when he comes to Pakistan, he come to our class and give a valuable session for our research students. I would like him to start this session. Then Dr. Hafiz Rahman, when he joins, we will join him in the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Hafiz Sab, over to you, sir. Let us start formally and mic is handed over to you.
Okay, thank you very much for your invitation. And honestly speaking, I am very happy. Okay, because you know, as a Pakistani, and I always want to give some contribution to our motherland. Okay, so I really feel honor and I really feel happy that actually we was trying to make it a couple of months ago with Dr. Noman, but unfortunately, you know, with my very busy schedule, we couldn't manage it. but last week, Ms. Sidra, she contacted with me, and we managed to organize it. So I feel very happy and honored, okay, that I can contribute some, okay, in scholarly work is doing by the universities and the journals. Before, when HEC did not recognize the Scopus, we tried our best to approach the HEC that they can recognize the Scopus. Okay, because the Scopus is one of the largest indexing and abstracting database in the whole world. So we was, really want that Pakistani universities, they are actually very good in terms of research and innovations. Okay, but they couldn't find the proper channel, a proper platform where they can, publish their papers. Okay, so finally, Alhamdulillah, that HEC have recognized the Scopus. Okay, so now I wish and I hope, the universities in Pakistan and other professional bodies, they do have their own journals. Okay, and the number of Scopus journals can increase. Right now in Pakistan is less than 100 Scopus index journal, which is very low number as compared to the other countries. Okay, so with this wish, I'm very happy that I can share some knowledge with all of worthy peoples. Okay, so I can share now my slides. Okay, so this actually the webinar is more towards the discussion. Okay, so but this call I will share some my slides. Okay, and I will give more time to so that we can have discussion. Okay, so I think let me share my.
Doctor, I will take some of your time just
Yes.
to introduce UMT journals. We have about 17 regular journals which we are publishing, and 6 are HEC recognized. One of our journal is Scopus listed in Q3,
Yeah.
while for
Not
others
available.
we are trying to, yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let me start. So my name is Muhammad Haseeb. I'm working as I'm associated with Taylor Business School, Taylor University, Malaysia. I'm working there since this is my third year. Before that, I was working in Management and Science University. So, and I'm the founder and director of Intellectual Edge Consultancy. Satya Berhad is located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So with this platform, we are making the collaborations with the universities and organizations to help them to improve their journals and what is called to giving them platform to run their journals. Okay, so let me go. Why Scopus? First of all, why the people are in Pakistan? I think the people are not really familiar with the Scopus because only recently HEC have recognized the Scopus indexing. Previously, HEC only recognized Web of Science and the local index journals, HEC recognized journals. So as I mentioned earlier, we are very happy that HEC finally have recognized the Scopus. Okay, so why Scopus? Okay, why Scopus? Because Scopus is the largest abstracting and bibliographic database in the world. So currently they have 41,317 journals which are indexed in Scopus all over the field. Okay, so another reason, when you are publish your papers in Scopus Index Journal, so it is give you high visibility all over the world. Okay, so because all over the world Scopus is recognized, I did not find any country so far. Unfortunately, it was Pakistan, but now I could not find any single country which is not recognizing Scopus journals as for their performance indicators. Okay, so one of the main reason of Scopus recognition, which is QS ranking, universities want to get ranking in the QS. Okay, so QS taking the data from Scopus for the institutions of their research performance. So once they want to take the research performance indicators, so they take the data from Scopus. So with these characteristics, with these properties, Scopus is one of the renowned database. So that is why we are here to discuss how we can get index our journals in the Scopus database. So I will discuss some of the points. Of course, with the limited time, we cannot cover all these things, but I will do my best to cover as much as possible I can. So first of all, your journal should have convincing editorial policy. So your editorial policy should be very clear, mentioned on your website, how you are evaluating the paper, what is the process, who's the editor, who's the associate editors. So all these are the basic information. It should be clearly mentioned on your journal website. Okay, so type of peer review, how you are doing the peer review, how are you doing the peer review process? Are you doing the double blind peer review, or recently introducing the new peer review process, which is a triple blind peer review? Okay, so double peer review means that authors and reviewers does not know each other. They are not know each other, that who's the author, author does not know who's the reviewer, and reviewer does not know who's the author. So this is the double blind. So now the research world is introducing the new method, which is triple blind review. So triple blind review, even the editor do not know who is the author of the paper. Okay, so it also can help to improve more. Okay, only the editorial assistant will know that who is the author. Okay, so the editorial assistant will forward the paper to editor after initial screening and removing the paper. Okay, so this is a new method. Okay, it's introducing by the scholarly word. Okay, so next is diversity in geographical distribution of the editors. So you need to look your editorial board members, editor plus your editorial board members are from which country? Okay, they are from different country or from only one or two countries. Okay, so you have to make the diversification in your editorial, in your editors and in your editorial board members. Okay, so cross-country editors are preferred. For example, if you have a journal in Pakistan, so it's preferred. Okay, it's not a compulsory, but it is an added advantage if you have editor, your main editor is from other country. Okay, so it is preferred. Okay, so it is an added advantage. Okay, so and make sure that your editorial board members are from different countries. Okay, so let's say at least if you want to give the touch of international journal, so at least from 20, 25 countries, your editorial board member should be from there. Okay, so then is quality of editor and editorial board member. Quality here, what does it mean? The quality of editors, that is the editor have published papers in Scopus Index journals. Okay, it's very, very important. It is very, very important that the current editor and the editorial board members, do they have published their papers in Scopus Index journals or not? Okay, and another important point is that is their area is same as the scope of your journal. For example, your journal is economics journal, but your editor is from what is called from management sciences or marketing or whatsoever. Okay, other than economics, so it will give little negative what is called impact during the evaluation. So you have to make sure that your editor mainly, okay, and especially, and your editorial board member as well should what is called having publications in Scopus Index journals. Okay, and they should have good citations and H index. Okay, in Scopus database. Okay, so this will give you very good impact while evaluation of your journal. So you have to make sure when you are selecting your editor and you are selecting the editorial board member, so they should have publication in the same area within the scope of the journal, and they should have good citations and H index in the Scopus database. And then next, diversification in geographical distribution of the author. Okay, so this is very important. It is very important when you are sending your journal for evaluation, that from which country you have published your paper. Okay, either if the journal is from Pakistan, so only you have published paper from Pakistan. Okay, or when you are using term international. Okay, so international means your journal should have publications from international authors as well. Okay, so diversification in the authorship is very important. Okay, it is one of the key indicators when you are applying your journal for your evaluation to be indexed in Scopus database. So academic contribution in the field. So when you are making your journal, you have to think why are you making this journal. Similarly to the paper, okay. When we want to publish our paper in the good journal, so we ask ourselves, is our paper is just a replica, okay, or it is really having a contribution. How your paper is different from the published paper, how you can see the contribution. Okay, it is also a significant and important point when you are submitting your journal for Scopus indexing. Okay, so when you are making the scope of your journal, so you have to think, okay, how your journal is important. Sometimes what happened that you have fulfilled all the criteria, your papers are from different countries, your editorial board members are very good, they have published their papers in the different Scopus index journals, and they have a good site score, they have a high index H index. Okay, but your journal is same as other already indexed journal in that field. Okay, so you have to think when you are launching your journal, you look at this journal, this UMT journal, which is recently get indexed in Scopus. This is related to Islamic civilization, something like this. You cannot find a similar topic of journal index in Scopus. Okay, so this is a unique. So you have to create something unique in your journal. Okay, for example, if there is a education journal, you are already 50, 60, 100 journals are there in Scopus database. So you are also making the education journal. So how your journal will be the different from the other journal? Okay, so this question usually the raised by the evaluator. Okay, that you are introducing the journal, you are making the journal. Okay, fine, your editorial board member, blah 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 blah. Your all the requirements are there, but why you have launched this journal, where and why we should index your journal in database where we already have a good number of a journal with the same scope. Okay, with the same scope. So you have to think while you are introducing your journal. Okay, you are launching your journal. Okay, you have to create a clear difference from other journals. Okay, so this will give you a very good point, a very good added advantage while you are submitting your journal for evaluation. It is same like as paper. Okay, when you are creating a gap, when you are giving the contribution in your paper, so it is help you to what is called get index in your paper. Okay, get index, get publish your paper. Okay, because the editors look at your paper, okay, and see that what is your contribution. Okay, you have nicely written your introduction, you have nicely written your literature view, your literature view have already have recent studies. Okay, and you have very well written your methodology, but what is the problem you want to address, what is the motivation behind your study, what is the contribution you want to address in your paper. So similarly in the journal. Okay, so when the evaluator doing the evaluation, okay, internally there is a two type of evaluation. Okay, we'll discuss later on that one is internal evaluation, then external evaluation. Okay, similarly to the paper, when you have internal review and external review. Okay, so the reviewer, the evaluators look at your journal, that how your journal can contribute in the scholar work. Okay, So then this is very important. Okay, and then clarity of the abstracts. Okay, when you are publishing your paper, so how your abstract is clear. Okay, usually we suggest to have emerald style of abstract, where you can have a purpose of your study, design and methodology, okay, findings and originality value. Okay, so this is the best way to write abstract. Okay, even though you don't want to follow this pattern, okay, you don't want to give the headings in your abstract, but at least all these things should be mentioned in your abstract. Okay, so it was when you are submitting your journal, the first impression is your abstract. Okay, so evaluator, even though is he or she will go through your whole papers which you give send as a sample or not, but at least they go through your abstract. Okay, so abstracts are very important. So your abstract should have purpose, design, methodology, approach, findings, originality. Okay, so the best style of privacy abstract is emerald style. Okay, so your journals can follow the emerald style, even though they don't want to put the headings. Okay, but still they can follow. Okay, all these items should be appear when you are publishing your paper. So you make sure that authors, when you publishing your paper, when you are accepting any paper, all these what is called ingredients, all these parts should be available in your paper. So you can ask the authors to clearly mention the purpose of the study, findings, originality, okay, and conclusion and so on. Okay, quality and conformity to the stated aim and scope of the journal. Okay, you should be your journal should have a specific scope. Okay, again I want to give the example of your Islamic journal. Okay, so this is the scope is, you can see, is not too broad. Okay, it is specific scope. Okay, when you have a specific scope and that scope having a contribution, so your journal can be indexed in Scopus. Okay, so your scope should not be too broad, it should be narrow. Okay, specific. Okay, and that specific what is called topic should have contribution. Okay, should have a contribution what is called in the field of research. Okay, for example, nowadays the blockchain economics, blockchain finance, blockchain accounting. Okay, this is the emerging trends. Okay, so if you launch your journal on such fields, okay, so your journal can be indexed in Scopus. Okay, and name here, some I forgot to add some points. Okay, so here I can mention name of your journal. It is also very important. Name of your journal, it is also very important when you are launching your journal. Okay, your journal name should be catchy. Okay, and what is called, it should not have similar name journals already indexed in Scopus. Okay, International Journal of Finance, let's say. Okay, there are, if such titles is already indexed in Scopus, so it will be harder for evaluator to accept your title. Okay, even though you have fulfilled all the criteria. So make sure that your name of your journal should be unique. Okay, UMT reviews, UMT business reviews. Okay, these kind of names, unique names, your name should be unique, and of course it will reflect your scope as well. Okay, so what is called the area of study which you want to cover, the name of the journal should be covered, that items. Okay, so scope of the journal should not be too broad. Okay, and publish papers strictly within the scope only. Okay, so when you are publishing your papers, okay, when you are saying that your journal cover the topics of pharmacy, okay, or your journal is covered the topics related to the digital marketing, okay, or e-marketing, so your journal should be published or papers that is related to the marketing only. Okay, within the scope only. Okay, so that can also be a good advantage and good point when evaluator evaluate your journal for the indexing in Scopus. Okay, citation of your journal is very important. Okay, if your journal is fulfill all the criteria, okay, editorial board member, diversity in the publications, all these things. But if you don't have citation not on in the Google Scholar, not at all. Okay, Scopus does not recognize citation in the Google Scholar. They only recognize what is called the citation cited by Scopus Index Journal. Okay, so let's say you have this business review journal. So the papers from this journal should be cited in the Scopus Index journals. Okay, so at least you should have 100 citations when you are applying for evaluation. Okay, so here one thing I want to mention that miracles does happen. Okay, miracle does happen sometime. Luckily, any of the journal we saw, some of the journals really don't have a good quality. They doesn't have good editorial board members. They don't have what is called a good number of citations, but still they get manage to get indexed. So that is, you can say a miracle or you can say a luck. Okay, but we cannot work on that basis. Okay, we cannot go for hit and try rule. Okay, so we have to follow, of course, all these requirements, okay, which is what is called stated by the Scopus. And just wait, please. Okay, no delay or interruption in the publication schedule. If you have mentioned that you are publishing quarterly, okay, so you should publish your paper quarterly. Okay, you can have little delay. Let's say you are publishing your paper in the January, you have a quarterly journal, okay, and you want to publish your paper, you are publishing your paper January, April, July, and October, for example. So like say your January issue can be published in February, okay, but it should not be too delayed. Okay, so publication schedule is important. You publish your paper on time, okay, and what is called regularly, and specify the mention on your website how many papers you are publishing in each issue, okay, and strictly follow that number. Okay, you are publishing 4 issues. In each issue, you are publishing 10 papers. Okay, so you can go ahead with the 10 papers. Okay, 1 or 2 paper can be lesser more, but 10% paper can be less and more, but no more than that. Okay, it will give the bad impression. So we usually suggest you go for what is called biannually. Okay, 2 issues in a year. You publish 10 papers in 1 issue. Okay, and later on, once your journal get indexed in Scopus, you can change. You can go from if you want to publish more paper, so you can go what is called for quarterly as well. Okay, this is not a restriction that if your journal get indexed in Scopus while you are publishing the quarterly, sorry, biannually, then after that even you can go for monthly. Okay, no problem. Okay, so the benefit you can get it while you are publishing biannually, you can have a good time, okay, to review the papers, okay, and having a good quality. Okay, you can find the papers from the different countries. Okay, now here one question is come up in our mind that since our journal is not yet get indexed in Scopus, so authors have less motivation to publish in our journal. Okay, one thing is there are different countries, especially in Africa, whose authors are quite good in writing. Their universities are recognizing the journal for their performance from their KPIs, which are published by the universities. So UMT have this advantage that the publisher of their journals are university. Okay, so you can attract the authors from Africa. Okay, what is called, they are quite good in the writing. okay, and what is called, they can fulfill their KPI and can give you a good paper. Okay, so if you have biannual, okay, so you can have a good time. Okay, so here what you can do, since your journal is not get indexed, so what you can do to attract the people, once any paper is ready, okay, you can go with online first. Okay, online first, so that authors can, because sometimes it's difficult for the authors also to, let's say you are publishing in June and January. Okay, January and June you are publishing, and somebody is submitting the paper in April. Okay, let's say, and your June issue is almost ready, so the author have to wait for till another 8 months. Okay, so that will can give the demotivate the author. So what you can do, you can introduce online first. Okay, so once any paper is ready, all the big publishers are following this rule. Okay, this method. Okay, so once your paper is ready, as soon as possible, you can publish that papers in online first. Okay, so that the authors can feel okay, secure. Okay, they can see their paper. Okay, so they can show their university for their performance. Okay, and you can fulfill your criteria as well. Okay, so make sure your full journal contents are available online. Okay, why I have mentioned this criteria, because some of the journals, they are print versions. Okay, and some of their contents are available online, and some their contents are available on the e-print print version. So you make sure that all the informations are available online. Okay, English language journal homepage should be available. This is a criteria because when people are publisher are sending their journals for evaluation, sometimes they are from Arab countries, from different France, Germany, and all these, they have their homepage in other language as well. Okay, so you make sure that what is called, your homepage is available on English also. Okay, DOI and cross-referencing is very important. Okay, DOI also, this is a product of Scopus. Okay, so this is very important now for when you are applying for Scopus for evaluation. So your journal should have what is called DOI. Okay, so this is nowadays it's very common. Okay, and you should register with the cross references as well. Okay, this is also give a good look to your journal. Okay, okay, so when you are publishing your papers, you can use the EndNote or Mendeley for referencing when you are formatting your papers. Okay, so make sure your all referencing, this is a very basic but very important. Okay, that the published paper should have citation and referencing are matching each other. Okay, so for this purpose, you can use EndNote or Mendeley for the referencing. You can assign your assistant, okay, general assistant, okay, who like you see the model of MDPI. Okay, so, sometimes they do by themselves. You can ask the author as well. Okay, but since your journal, you remember your journal is not yet indexed in Scopus, so it is little hard to attract the authors. Okay, so even maybe you need to do from your end. Okay, so you can use the Mendeley and or what is called EndNote. Okay, so it will verify the citation and referencing. Okay, and make sure that you are strictly following the referencing style which you have mentioned on your journal. If you are using the APA, you use the APA. And if you are following the Harvard, okay, you should continue with the Harvard. So it will be having a same format for referencing. Okay, article history. Okay, it is very important. It is very important that your paper should have article history. Should be mentioned on your paper. Every paper should have mentioned the article history. Okay, when this paper was received. Okay, and when was reviewed, and when get the acceptance and publication date. Okay, so this history of the article, okay, should be mentioned on your paper. So it is actually, this is not a written criteria by the Scopus. Okay, this is a kind of tip, you can say, that we can give you, that when you are publishing the paper, okay, you should mention the history, okay, review date and receive date and all this. So it is an added advantage when you are applying your journal for Scopus indexing. Okay, uneven quality of published papers. Okay, so you make sure your quality of paper published in your journal, it should be even. Okay, it should not be uneven. Uneven means that some papers are very high quality, okay, and some are below the average. Okay, so you should have even quality. Okay, you put a standard. Okay, make sure you are mention the number of words, okay, minimum number of words, the maximum number of words. Okay, if you are publishing the empirical work, empirical papers, only publish the empirical papers. Okay, and try not to publish. This is actually, unfortunately, it is giving a negative impact when you are submitting your journal for evaluation, if you are publishing conceptual and theoretical papers. Okay, so it's better and suggested to publish only empirical paper. Okay, and with the standard of quality. Okay, so standard of quality you can maintain by minimum number of words and maximum number of words. Okay, so you make sure that your papers are what is called published papers are even quality. Okay, author's guideline, of course, this is very basic, that your journal should clearly mention the author's guideline. Okay, that how they can submit the paper. Okay, how much is the review time. Okay, when you can get the acceptance or rejection, how long. So all the terms and conditions, author guidelines should be mentioned on your journal website. Okay, OJS system. Okay, now it is almost compulsory. Okay, it is almost compulsory that you should follow OJS system, online journal system. You can go any kind of, there are different types of OJS system. Okay, some you can build by yourself. Okay, since UMT having their own IT department, so you can build your own OJS system. Okay, or you can buy from the different agencies. Okay, from different IT companies. Okay, and some companies are like, for example, I think British Library is giving free of cost as well your OJS system. Okay, so all the submissions, acceptance, rejections, okay, all the things should be through OJS system. Okay, so the authors can track it. It can reduce your burden as well. Okay, because editor assistant burden. Okay, so because when the authors are submitting the paper, they are keep sending the emails and everything. Once they have what is called online system, so they can see what is the status of their paper. Okay, and when you are submitting your journal for Scopus indexing, so during evaluation, your OJS system is giving a positive impact. Okay, so what is the business model of your journal? Okay, let's say you are purely working a purely scholarly work. Okay, so there is does not involve any submission fee or publication fee, so you have to mention clearly. Okay, so it is some journals got discontinued because they did not mention that what is called, they having a publication fee or submission fee, but upon submission they ask author to pay the submission fee or publication fee. Okay, so what is called, they get the penalty, and sometimes the journal can be discontinued from the Scopus. Okay, when can apply? When you can apply for evaluation? So after meeting all the criteria which I have mentioned to you, these are the main criteria, mainly focused by the Scopus. Okay, so once you done with these criteria, you can apply. Okay, after 2 years of publication, you have to publish at least 2 years. Okay, and for Pakistani journals, I suggest to go for 3 years. Okay, you apply what is called for evaluation after 3 years. Okay, because there is a little discrimination in Scopus once they want to index any journal. Okay, so let's say if any journal is applied from US or UK or developed countries, okay, so their evaluation criteria is little different than the criteria for developing countries. Okay, so this is a minimum criteria. Minimum criteria is you should have publication for 2 years, but we suggest that you go for publication for evaluation. You submit your journal for evaluation after the 3 years of publication. This is just a recommendation. Okay, if you want to apply after 2 years, you can go ahead with also. Okay, result of evaluation. So usually it take 6 months to 18 months. Okay, for evaluation. When you submitting your journal for evaluation, they ask you to give the sample paper. Okay, all the PDFs you have to provide. You have to fill up the form. Okay, and the result will take 6 months to 18 months. Okay, so in 6 months to 18 months, they will inform you. You can track the record using their online system. Okay, that where is your journal now, with whom your journal now. Okay, so they can show you all the results. Okay, so your journals can be indexed for 2 years to 5 years. Initially, some journals, because of recent little problems in the Scopus index journals, okay, there are some issues happening currently. Okay, so that's a deep discussion. Okay, because of that, now the Scopus indexing sometime index the journal, especially I'm sorry to say, mention the country name from India, especially from India. They what is called giving the contract for only for 2 years, and that is a conditional contract. Okay, not all journals get the conditional contract, but some journals, okay, they get the conditional contract. So they watch activities, okay, publication method and scope and all these things, okay, within 2 years. That 2 years, if the performance of that journal go well, they extend the contract. If not, they discontinue the journal. Okay, and up to maximum 5 years. Your initial contract is maximum is 5 years. Okay, and that is extendable. Okay, so they look after 5 years, they look at your journal. If your journal is performing very well, so they will extend your contract. And even during this time, if your journal is having ethical issues, not publishing properly, don't have a review process, proper review process, okay, and what is called, or number of papers are too large or too small. Okay, so during even 5 years, your journal can be discontinued from the Scopus. So in case of rejection, either it will be lifetime ban or ask for resubmit after 1, 2, or 5 years. So once you submit your journal for evaluation in Scopus, so sometime if they found a very serious issue in your journal, okay, so they can have lifetime ban. Okay, lifetime ban on your journal. For example, you what is called, you did not get the consent of editor while putting his or her name. Editorial board members you have wrote is the name you have wrote on the website, on the general website, are what is called not a real name, or you did not get the consent from that people. Okay, so these kind of things are very serious. Okay, or you have published plagiarized paper. Okay, so you did not focus on plagiarism. Okay, and try to maintain similarity index less than 20%, and the first source should not be more than 5%. Okay, so this is the minimum criteria. Okay, so try to publish the paper within this range. Okay, that your paper should not have similarity index more than 20%, and the first source should not be more than 5%. So if you have published papers, what is called, which are having a high similarity, okay, so your journal might get lifetime ban from to be submit for evaluation in the Scopus. But if your journal need small improvements, okay, a minor improvements, so they might give you 1 year to improve that position. Let's say for example, You did not publish the paper from what is called diversification. With the diversification, you did not publish paper from different countries. Okay, so in that case, they might give you 1 year, okay, or 2 years. Okay, if your journal is still having a contribution but having serious issues, okay, so they might give you 5 years that you improve your journals, and after 5 years you submit your journals again, okay, for the evaluation. So this is all from my side. Okay, thank you very much, and you can open question and answer session. Okay, so thank you very much.
Uh, Thank you very much, Doctor. I think this was very informative and knowledgeable session that we have about our journals. I think we will revise our policies, and our staff has also taken insight of the listing of their journals, especially our relevant staff, editorial assistants, and our chief editors. I'm very thankful to all the people who have joined us. I think session is now open for questioning, answering. If anybody cannot put his on question on sound, please let me know that I will unmute his channel. So question answers.
Rafiq Saab, I have raised my hand. I don't know if I am in the queue to ask question. I just seek your permission to ask question.
Yes, yes, please, Dr.
All right. Thank you so much for organizing this wonderful session, and I congratulate Dr. Haseeb for such a wonderful talk this morning.
Dr.
I have this.
Please also introduce yourself so that Dr. Haseeb would be.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. We are
Unfortunately,
listening.
there's a here. Though I am connected from UMT network, but I don't know, there is connectivity issue here.
We can clearly hear you. Just Dr. Awan have asked you to, if you can introduce yourself, so it will be easier for me to reply your question more specifically.
Yeah. Thank you. My name is Shaban, and I am editor-in-chief of Linguistics and Literature Review Journal, which is an ETC Y category journal. And I and my team, we are looking for Scopus indexation now. I have basically two questions. My first question is, does the name of publisher matter for Scopus and other agencies? Like if your journal is being published by Taylor and Francis or Routledge, there are some universities where the journals are published by top-notch publishers, and eventually Scopus does index them, even that is their first issue, and they have not to wait for 1 year or 2 years, as you have rightly said. My second question is about the nature of publication. Since I am leading the journal on linguistics and literature, and linguistics is a scientific study of language, whereas the literature is more about aesthetics. So research which is published in the domain of linguistics come from, exactly as you have rightly said, emerald style of abstract, and there is a quantification. However, from literature, research is conceptual. So I am dealing with two different domains of research. How you can create a balance? It's very difficult to convince authors to do quantitative research, whereas there's no quantification in literature. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Shaban. If I can call your name properly. Okay, so first your question is regarding the publisher. Yes, does matter. Publisher does matter. Okay, this you can say the brand name. Okay, so because that is a we in the data we called the outliers. They are outlier. Okay, so it does matter. And also in the second layer, if your publisher is a private publisher or the publisher is the university, it also matter. Okay, so sometimes they give the preference, the journals belongs to the universities. Okay, so UMT having, as I mentioned, that they have advantage. Okay, that the publisher of your journals are university. Okay, so they always give preference. Okay, so we cannot actually discuss that giant publisher like Routledge and what is called Science Direct and Wiley and all that. Okay, so because of course they're having a big name. Okay, so even they have we have one example, one of our consultant, okay, from Australia. He helped Bank Negara Indonesia, National Bank of Indonesia, to get index their journal in Scopus, so they can manage to get index only in 1 year. Okay, so that are the different cases that are you can counting as a outlier. Okay, so in short, brand name is matter. Okay, so your second question is domain of your papers and types of your paper. Yes, sometimes you get the paper is not empirical. That's are the conceptual papers. Yeah, that is why if you see in category of literature and English linguistic, you cannot find too many papers, too many journals. Okay, so this is a main challenge. Okay, this is a main challenge of your what is called for your journal. Okay, is to get attract authors. Okay, to publish only the empirical work. Okay, so you can what you can do, you can have visibility, higher visibility. Okay, you can use social what is called platforms. Okay, social media platforms. You can send even the call for paper. Okay, even you can send for call for paper. Okay, so that people can what is called send papers in your journal. And initially, just as I mentioned, publish low number of paper. Don't go for high number of papers. Just publish. Let's say you are publishing, I'm not sure how what is the frequency of your paper for your journal. So let's say you are publishing biannually, just publish 10 papers. Okay, and make sure that 10 papers are language error free and empirical and having an even quality. Okay, so sometimes you want to you publish very good quality paper, and sometimes what is called because sometimes we cannot get the paper, so we desperately we publish average quality paper, so that will give you the negative impact. So yes, this is a challenge. Okay, this is a challenge that that is why you can have you can see that only few journals, I think is 100 something from all over the world. Journals are indexed for literature and what is called English literature. Okay, only 100 something you can get it. Okay, so because this is a challenge and journals sometimes could not manage to get it, but if you can manage to get it, okay, papers with the similar quality and empirical paper. So because now what is called in literature we have a different methods of analysis. Okay, so maybe you can talk to the authors if they can use that particular methods. Okay, so and we have now for your literature to be analyze the data. Okay, so yes, it will give you the added advantage and the higher chance to be get index in Scopus.
That makes sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, if there's no question, I have few more questions, and if I just rank my another very important questions about the citation, if you like to take this question.
I think there is someone, Tanveer, have raised a hand, and after that,
Okay.
maybe Dr.
Tanveer sir, please ask question.
ये अनम्यूट कर दें अभी जो क्वेश्चंस कर रहे हैं. अच्छा. नोमान साहब, अगर आप लोगों को अनम्यूट कर दें जो आपके पास
हेलो।
है, ताकि लोग
यस यस हो गया तनवीर साहब पूछें।
हेलो डॉक्टर साहब, कैन यू हियर मी?
Yeah, can clearly can hear you.
हेलो
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you, Mr. Tanveer. We
डॉक्टर
can
साहब,
hear
my
you.
name is Tanveer Aslam. I am editorial assistant at UMP here now. Thank you so much. How we can increase the citation?
Okay, I can only hear your question. How we can increase the citation? That's only I can hear you. Your voice was interrupting.
Sorry,
Okay,
pardon?
but I can understand your question. Your
Okay,
question
that's
is how,
I'm going to repeat it again.
okay. Yeah, please.
I would like to ask. Can you hear now? Can you hear now?
Yeah, now I can hear you properly.
That's how I would like to ask how we can compare our UMT journals to other best Scopus journals. I mean, what are the core parameters of comparison in your opinion? Secondly, Dr. Saab, please give your comment how we can increase the citation of UMT journals. I mean, detailed tricky criteria to increase the citations. Please let us know about the Web of Sciences also. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Your important question. First, you asked that how you can compare. Uh, okay, first your question is how you can compare your journal with the other journals already indexed in Scopus. Yes, you can easily compare that what quality of papers they have published. Okay, how diversification they do have. Okay, so is your journal is publishing papers from different countries? Okay, is the quality of your papers are even? Okay, how about your editorial board member, and how about the journals who are already indexed in Scopus? Okay, don't count some journals you will find out, as I always give the example of papers. When you are publishing paper, sometimes you can get it the papers from renowned journals, okay, which did not properly follow the methods, okay, and that are not really very good quality, but the papers managed to what is called publish. So similarly, what is called in Scopus database, some journals you will find out that they are not really good quality, okay, because we are in this field for since last 10 years, okay, and we are managing almost 100 Scopus index journals from all over the world. So we know that some of the journals they are not really good quality, but they could manage to index in Scopus. So you just forget about that. So you just focus on what is called quintile one journal only. Okay, one or maximum two. Okay, so Q1 and Q2 journals, you open the Q1 and Q2 journals, so you can see how many citations they do have. Okay, site score. You look at their site score. Okay, look at their diversification of their editorials, okay, and look at their authorship from the different countries, okay, look at the quality of the papers they do have published, okay. So you can easily you can set these parameters, okay, and even though you take these points which I have mentioned in my slides, okay, so you can have a checklist, okay, and the same things you will find out the journals which are already indexed, okay, which are in Q1 or Q2, and the same what is called criteria, the same elements you can find out what is called, if you can do it in your journal, okay, so your journal can be accepted for index in journal in Scopus database, okay. So it is easy to compare the quality, okay, and standard what is called. If you know, if any journal do not follow the criteria set by the Scopus, remember the journal can be discontinued as well, okay. So again, diversification of the author, diversification of the editorial board member, okay, and the quality of the paper you have published, how to assess the quality of your paper, okay. You can find out the contribution, okay, what the contribution your papers are discussing, okay. Language is very important, okay, language is very important, okay. Pay what is called your attention while you are publishing the paper, especially on your abstract, okay. So as an editor, as an editorial assistant or editor, you make sure you proofread the abstract of the paper by yourself. Okay. Once your journal get indexed, you can ask the authors to what is called attach the certificate of proofreading. Okay. Especially, you know, most of the papers coming from non-English countries. Okay, so what is called, you have to make sure that papers are following your proper English language. Okay, so their academic writing, the words they are, and grammatical mistakes, spelling mistakes, you have to be take care. Okay, but because at this level you cannot, honestly speaking, you cannot have too much requirements for the author, so you have to involve yourself as well. Okay, so personally you have to, sometime you have to improve the language of the abstract. Okay, because if you put too many restriction, too many criteria, so people might not be published in your journal, because remember, your journal is not yet indexed in Scopus. Okay, so you have to give some special attention. Okay, so so that the authors could manage to publish in your journal. Okay, so comparison, yes, your question was comparison. So yes, you can do the comparison, and you can follow, you can have one mother journal. Okay, same like when we are writing the paper, so we have the main paper, we put the main paper. Okay, and we follow. Okay, that what how this paper have wrote their abstract, how they what is called, what method of writing style they have used in the paper. So you can have one mother journal. Okay, one or two mother journal you can follow how they have set the editorial policy, how they have set their scope, how they have what is called, from how many countries they are publishing the paper. Okay, so all that you can take care. Your next question is how to increase the citations. Okay, so number one, when you publish the good quality what is called papers. Okay, so your journals is automatically having good citation. Okay, and what is called good citation, you will get it once you publish papers in good quality papers. When you publish, your papers will get natural citation. And additionally, you can have the collaborations. Okay, you can have the collaborations from the Scopus index journals. Okay, you can give them some services. Okay, you can be a reviewer. Okay, once you are a reviewer of some of the journals. Okay, so once you accept any paper, you can recommend some of your studies from your journals. Okay, to the authors to cite your studies. Okay, so you need to do little more effort. Okay, out of the box effort. Okay, so this is the out of the box effort that you can be reviewer of, you can send your resume to different journals which is in your category. Okay, let's say there are 100 more journals, okay, in your category, so you can give them the offer for few journals. Of course, you cannot be reviewer for too many journals. Okay, so once you get relevant article, okay, so you can suggest, okay, you only can suggest the citation, okay, from your journal, okay, to be cited in that study. So that can be a one reason more. And another thing is make visible your journal. Okay, what is called, make like a WhatsApp group, okay, Facebook group, Twitter, okay, researchgate accounts, Google Scholar account. Okay, so when once your journal having a high visibility, so you also will get, naturally you will get citations. So visibility plus the collaboration. Okay, so this is how you can get the citation. Okay, of course, you as a researcher, you are also publishing the paper. Okay, so you can cite relevant papers from your journal as well. Okay, and your editorial board member, you can request to editorial board member as well. Okay, so what is called, so you can do effort in that way. I hope this will be the answer of your question.
Any other question? I think some of doctors are here, and they might be some of the editors or chief editors of their relevant journals. Please put any question.
Uh, doc, Dr. Shaban, I think, who have asked the question first, he want to ask something. Maybe you want to ask the question?
Doctor, have you any more question? I have some question, Doctor.
Yeah, sure, please.
One of my question is that some of the journals who publish some letters, especially in the field of science, scientific journals especially, they publish some short communications or short letters of 1 page or 2 pages, and they are cited somewhere, and Scopus enlist those letters. I know that letter to editors are not basically the listed articles in Scopus, but when any letter or short communication bears some citations, whether it should be counted as a publication or not.
No, the letter to editor or editorial letter, it is not come under the citation. Okay, so even though people are citing what is called that letter, but it does not appear in the number of citation. For example, you have published papers, okay, and what is called, you want to send your journal for evaluation, and they count your citation. So that citation which is cited of your letter, editorial letter, that would not be counted, because the only papers, research papers, although this is a special issue or regular issue, that will only be counted for citation. But there are the different, another type of letter. The one is editorial letter, that's a different thing. But short communication is something different. Short communication is a type of papers used in the sciences. Okay, so what is called, this is usually used in pharmacy and chemistry and biologies, okay, in pure sciences. So short communication is counted as a paper, but editorial letter is not counted as a paper. So their value citation will also not be counted when you are submitting your journal for evaluation.
Mr. Muhammad Ali, please ask your question.
Okay, I have a question. I am Dr. Ali from Life Sciences Department, UMG. I want to ask, is there any limitation for like review papers or this letter to editors type of things, or the letters that are research letters? So is there any limitation for those for Scopus indexation, or they are fit? Because for review, there are more citation that is normally observed than the research articles.
Yeah, if you need to mention in your journal scope that you are publishing the empirical papers, or you are also publishing the review papers. Okay, so at the starting, when you are, yes, you are right that review papers usually got more citations. Okay, so but when your papers are your journals is evaluating for Scopus, so Scopus evaluator, they do more preference to the empirical paper. Okay, so what is called, because that are result oriented. Okay, so they are more focused to the journals who are publishing the papers, empirical papers. Okay, so of course you can publish a review article as well if you have mentioned in your scope of your journal, okay, the types of paper you are publishing. Okay, so but as a suggestion, this is a suggestion that what is called, before you send evaluation your journal, try to publish only the empirical paper. So it is highly get what is called attention from the reviewers, from the evaluators. Okay, so after
Doctor,
that,
is there any ratio of review papers and empirical papers?
maybe you can just if you really want to publish the review paper, okay, so maybe 10% you can publish. Okay, So if you go to the good journal, so you will find this, even though once they get indexed in the Scopus, so you can find the 90-10, okay, 90-10, what is called ratio. Because when you are publishing the review article, your review article which you are going to publish is really, really very good, should be very good paper. Okay, so you have to pay a special attention while you are publishing the review paper in your journal. Okay, so what is called it, so you can publish, of course, and but advisable is before you sending your journal for evaluation, it's preferred to publish only empirical paper. Okay, so if you want to publish, so again, this is my suggestion as per my experience, don't go more than 10%. Okay, so let's say you are publishing 30 papers in a year, so you just publish 3 papers, what is called review articles, and the rest of 27 better and suggested to be published only empirical.
Doctor, one more question from
Yes,
my side and last question. Method of desk review, if you can share some techniques for desk review so that our editorial assistants, other chief editors and editors may have
yeah, your
some,
desk
may learn
revision,
some
desk
techniques.
review should have some checklist. Okay, one of the top is what is called similarity index. Okay, so let's say you have set the criteria that paper should be less than 20%. Okay, even the 15% is more better. Okay, the least plagiarism similarity index your paper have. Okay, because you make sure, remember, when you send your journal for evaluation, your all papers are going to be checked by them. Okay, through either I authenticate or by Turnitin. Okay, so they will check your paper. So you cannot, this is evident. Okay, your paper having contribution or don't have a contribution is a subjective. Okay, your paper really having a good quality or not is just subjective. But when your result come up in number 20%, 30%, so you cannot violate that, you cannot ignore that. Okay, so you make sure, first thing, you make sure that you clearly, and first step you check your plagiarism, okay, of all the papers. And let's say you have set the criteria of 20%. So what you can do, if any paper is, let's say, is 30%, plagiarism is 30%, okay, and what is called, but this paper is really good quality and you want that to send this paper for review. So what you can do, you can return for correction. Okay, you can return that paper for correction. You ask to reduce the similarity and send us back. But if that paper is not good quality and having a high similarity also, of course, you can get, you can go for test rejection. And scope of the paper, okay. And if the paper is out of the scope, you no need to send to for review, and you no need to send for to editor, handling editor or associate editor, to send for review, so you can have a desk rejection. Okay, and another what is called, you should have limited limitation of numbers. Okay, number of words. Okay, so let's say you minimum number of words you are taking 4,500 and maximum you are taking 6,500. Okay, so before send for review, okay, you send back to the authors. Okay, if the paper is fulfilling the basic criteria, so you can send back to the authors so that they can improve the paper. Okay, so that what is called, sometime do happen, you look at the paper having a wonderful quality, okay, but the number of words are 12,000. Okay, so you thinking that, okay, I send for review first, let for complete process, and we will suggest to the authors to reduce the number. Okay, most of the cases, authors, they don't want to reduce number of words. Okay, so because they have taken maybe from their grants, okay, or that is their PhD paper from their PhD thesis. So most of the cases, they don't want to reduce the number of words. Okay, so you don't waste your time, don't waste your resources. So you get consent first from the author, ask the authors to what is called, send the paper with the what is called, within the limit of words. Okay, so these are the few criteria you can maintain. And if any paper violate these terms, okay, so you might can go for a desk rejection. If the paper is getting passed from this initial process, then only you can send for what is called to your associate editor to send for review. And also you can have the number of country. Okay, let's say you are publishing 20 papers, okay, or 40 papers in a year. So you should have a table, okay, from Pakistan, how many papers you want to publish, okay. So usually from the home country, better not to publish more than 50% article, okay, should be less than 50. If you are publishing 40 articles, so you should not publish what is called more than 50%. Okay, rest of the 50% it should be from different countries. So you have to count how many papers you have already published from Pakistan, and what is called, you can build this catalog with you. Okay, so it will show you a graph. Okay, that for example, you already published 20 papers. Okay, or accepted 20 papers, so 21 papers come to you. Okay, if really good paper, you can ask them. Okay, we will, if your paper get in accept, we will publish in 2021. Let's say, for example. So if the author don't want, don't waste your time, don't waste your resources. Simply you can go for rejection.
Thank you very much. There's one more question from my side.
Yeah.
What are papers which are extracted from thesis? Sometimes the thesis is already in the repository, and when a student or a scholar extracts a paper, it gets high similarity from the thesis. So what should we do in that case for the case of Scopus? Because it will be around 70% similar with the thesis and less than 19% excluding thesis. So should we entertain these papers, or should we say change it all and then come back?
Yeah, this was just now I was coming in my mind, so I forgot to mention this. When I was mentioning about similarity index, you should not entertain such paper. The reason behind is, okay, the author is having a PhD thesis, but he or she is already get the points while submitting the thesis. Okay, so they already get the credit for that work. Okay, so now for to get paper, to get another credit, so they should have to have a different kind of work, okay, different from what they have already done. So that is done already, that is they have already got the credit. Okay, so when you are submitting for evaluation in Scopus, that is considered a plagiarism. Okay, even though that is a self plagiarism. Okay, so similarly self citation. Okay, journal, when they have what is called, make sure here I will come back to your question again, and some certainly come up in my mind. Make sure you don't have self citation, a lot of self citation. Some journal, unfortunately, they mention in their website, in the author guideline, have you cited paper from our journal? Okay, this is a wrong way. Okay, so what is called, if your journal having a self citation more than, let's say, 20%, so it is already giving the negative impact. Okay, so your journal should not having a too many self citation. Okay, paper published in your journal, and also that paper is cited again in another paper, and that another paper is indexed in published in your journal. So that is, we called it self citation. Okay, so similarly this is a self plagiarism. So self plagiarism is also not allowed, because you already got the, this is very common problem, and authors, they always try to convince that this is my own thesis I have submitted. Yes, you already get the credit for this thesis, so now you want to get another credit. So another credit you can get it only if you do something different from your thesis. Okay.
Dr. Shah, may I have one question about this thing, that HEC has a prerequisite that you must publish at least one paper, HEC recognized, from your thesis. Then how we manage it?
Yeah, you have to extract your paper. When you are extracting your paper from your thesis, Okay, so but this called your results can be same as you have mentioned in your PhD thesis, but your justifications, you have to rewrite. Okay, you have to be rewrite. Yeah, this is all over the world. The prerequisite is you have to publish one paper or two papers in what is called for as a requirement of your degree. Okay, here in Malaysia you have to publish two Scopus papers. Somewhere in China is you have to publish one SSCI or SCIE paper. Okay, so that's all over the world. But you need to, because remember, you are already getting the credit for your PhD thesis. Okay, and now you want to get the credit for the paper, so that should be different. Okay, you can rewrite. Okay, the same what I have done in my what is called in my thesis as well. So I extract the paper, I use the same variable because I want to vet my framework as well by publishing in the good journal. Okay, so what is called, if I use other variables, of course you are not going to use other variables, the variable will be remain the same. Okay, but your justification, your clarification will be the different. Okay, so otherwise sometimes you, what happened, the students, they publish their paper first. Okay, that's a different case. Okay, if they have published their paper first and then they what is called submitting their PhD work, that is depend on the university policy. Okay, as per my previous university, if the what is called supervisor write to the university that yes, I am clarifying that this main similarity index is coming from his own paper, so university will allow you to go for viva without what is called removing the plagiarism. That's a different case. So it depends on which come first. Your thesis come first. If your thesis is already published, so already you get wet, you already go for viva and all that, and it is go to repository, that's done. Okay, for now, if you want to extract the paper from your thesis, so you have to rewrite.
Dr. Hafeezab, do you want to ask any question? Dr. Hafeezab, are you listening me?
Actually, Dr. Fisa's mic is not properly working, but I want to add one thing in the question of Dr. Rafiq Saab, that for the PhD thesis, it will go in similarity after the publication of the paper. So it's not an issue in Pakistan. You have to get published first, and it will go in repository.
Yeah,
So,
that's the university policies. That's even for other around the world universities, they have their own policies. As I mentioned that in my university where I have done my PhD, that if you have published first, okay, so you already publish your paper, then you submitting your thesis. Yes, that's depend on the policy of your university. And as Dr. Hafiz have mentioned that this is allowed by the universities. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, but since we are talking from Scopus perspective, where your journal, your thesis is already went to the repository. Okay, now if the author want to extract the paper, so they have to rewrite the paper. Okay, and before that, if they publish the paper, so of course their similarity will not appear. Okay, so that is not an issue. Okay, if they want to publish the paper with any journal, their similarity will be not high. Okay, because since their thesis is not yet in repository. Okay, the problem will appear if the thesis is already went to the repository, you already graduate, now you want to extract your paper from your thesis and you are claiming that this is your thesis. Yes, this was your thesis, now it is went to the repository and you already got the credit. Okay, you already got the PhD degree on the behalf of this thesis. So now if you want to go for another credit, you have to write something different.
Mohammed Ali Saab, please ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much for such an informative talk. Actually, I have a question. Like Scopus, does it consider special issues in a journal, book chapters, obituary, news and views? Normally, journals do publish them. So, does Scopus consider them? Like, and is there any credit for that?
Okay, there is little confusion in your question that special issue, if you publish in your special issue in your journal and then you send for evaluation, how that how
Yes,
Scopus is working?
special issues like publishing conference papers or special conferences, like journals do that usually.
Okay, your journal if published the special issues, okay, or the conference papers, that is your question? Your
Yes,
journal.
exactly.
Okay. So Scopus is taking what is called negatively the special issues. Okay. So try not to publish too many special issue. Okay. And even I suggest you to not to publish even a single special issue or conference proceeding before indexing. Okay. Before you are sending your what is called journal for evaluation. Okay. So even once your journal get indexed, okay, we have a lot of examples that journal got discontinued from the Scopus because they was publishing the special issues. Okay. So even though now you will see there are many big publishers like MDPI, they call for special issue, but they don't publish in the special issue. They don't publish it. They publish in the regular issues. Okay. They announce the special issue. Okay, this is a topic. Okay, we want to get the paper, and they put 1 or 2, 3 guest editors. Okay, but once your paper publish in the regular issue. Okay, so what is called in terms of Scopus. Okay, special issues give the negative impact. Okay, so Scopus really don't like to publish too many special issues, even though you once your journal get indexed. So make sure you don't publish too many special issues. And even before evaluation, try not to publish even a single special issue. You can publish the papers with the regular issue. Even though some conference is asking you, okay, we want to have a collaboration with you. Yeah, this is also a good way to attract international scholars. Okay, so you can get what is called collaboration with the international conferences. Okay, so your journal get advertised on their because once any organization what is called internationally they call for international conference. Okay, so they send call for paper to different universities. Okay, all over the world. Okay, so your journal can be advertised. Okay, so you have to advertise your journal as well. So this is a good way to attract international scholar. Okay, so to make the collaboration with the what is called conference organizers. Okay, with the conference proceedings. Okay, but make sure when you are taking the paper from the conferences, don't forget to maintain the quality. Okay, because most of the conferences you just leave the 5% conferences which they are really counting quality papers. Okay, otherwise 95% conferences they are just now at the international level the meaning of conference. Okay, I mentioned, just forget about the 5% top conferences. Rest of the 95% conferences is just a matter of what is called hangout. Okay, so it's not really, and yeah, you can get the benefit like you have a networking, see different scholars. Okay, but you really not get what you want to get actually. Okay, so make sure when you're having a collaboration with the conferences, you can publish the paper, but publish your paper in a regular issue, and make sure that you are maintaining the quality. Okay, because most of the conferences author, they just give a review paper. Okay, a short papers. Okay, so getting good paper from the conferences is also a difficult job. Okay, so you can selective paper you can what is called accept. Okay, while having a good quality. Okay, so yes, so better not to publish special issues.
Ji. Any other question? Questions from editorial team? Please आप लोग पूछें questions.
You have very good advantage that you are hosting the journals, what is called, which is using the platform of the university. Okay, so if you run it properly, okay, in a systematic way, So, your journals having a really good scope. Okay, so I can see that many universities all over the world, they have a good number of Scopus index journals. Okay, so now HEC have started recognizing the Scopus. So what is called? Your journals will be having a high visibility. Okay, and Scopus right now will give preference to Pakistani journals. Okay, because the Pakistani HEC higher education it started recognizing to the Scopus. Okay, previously they was not recognizing because of some issues, because they have collaboration with the Web of Science. Web of Science was giving free of cost access to their database. Okay, HEC was not paying anything, where other countries they have special criteria for developing countries, and one of Pakistan was one of them. Okay, so because since they are giving free of cost their that access to their database, where you have to pay millions of dollars. Okay, so that is was the reason that HEC was not recognizing the Scopus. That was the main reason. Okay, but fortunate now they have start accepting. So your journals having really good future. Okay, so if you take care the journals, and you do a systematic process. Okay, so what is called, this is the advantage, that you are publishing the journal on the university platform. Okay, so you can get the indexing.
Any other question? Are we finished the session? कुछ लोग यूएमटी के बाहर से भी मुझे नजर आ रहे हैं. प्लीज आप लोग अगर कोई क्वेश्चन करना चाहें तो डू पुट योर क्वेश्चन. कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है? So I think Dr. Sahab, thank you very much for your very informative and knowledgeable session. I have personally learned so many new things while I am in this area from last, you can say 2-3 years. But I have learned so many things, and I am also thankful to all participants, our chief editors, our editors, participants, and participants from outside UMT. And I also must appreciate the efforts of Ms. Sidra Raza, who has basically coordinated this session, and Dr. Noman, who is the host of this session. I must appreciate the efforts, and I must recognize the efforts of Ms. Sidra and Dr. Noman, Dr. Hafiz. Dr. Aziz has given us the time, and some other doctors are also in the list. I also thankful to all our editorial team and team of other. I also must thankful to other UMT faculty members who are also in the list. Rahatul Ansab, I'm looking his name. He joined our session. And special thanks to Dr. Haseeb for giving some much of his time, and we have taken more than the decided time. I am very thankful to the participants and Dr. Haseeb. I think if Dr. Saab, if you can share your PPTs with Dr. Noman Arshad, and so that we may send our your PPTs to all of the participants.
Yeah, sure.
And
I will share.
I think.
Yeah, I will share.
Thank you very much. I think thank you very much.
Yeah,
all
you
of the participants, and we may leave our.
It was really honor for me to, I can at least contribute some the universities which is belongs to my motherland. Okay, so we always living as in the abroad, we always looking some opportunities that we can contribute for somehow. Okay, in any way. Okay, so we really feel inner happiness, and I'm doing the consultation with too many universities. especially in Malaysia and Indonesia. We have very good name. My company having a very good name with the short span of time. My company have taken very good name. Okay, so we are, but that of course of all are on in the monetary terms. Okay, so but this time we are really feeling inner satisfaction and inner happiness that we are I can share some of my knowledge, okay, with the university which belongs to my motherland. Okay, so it is really give you inner happiness and satisfaction. Okay, so thank you very much for your invitation, and
Thank you very
if
much.
you need in next, if I come to Pakistan, I will be honored to visit to UMT. Okay, and during this time, if you need any assistance, okay, or any suggestion, so I'm more than welcome. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you,
Thank you
Doctor.
very much.
Thank you all.